celebration of Qin's victory at Heshi and new capital's inauguration begins!
Long live great Qin! Long live the king! Long live the chief advisor!
His Majesty will now give his public announcement!
To the great heaven and earth, most trusted subjects, and beloved citizens of Qin. Recovering the lost lands of Heshi and relocating to Shanyang, our new capital, are two of the greatest achievements of Qin in over a century. When the state of Qin started applying the state reforms, we had all gone through a thorny road of blood, of sweat, and of tears for over 20 years. Through this, our once impoverished state has started to improve, bringing honor to our forefathers' efforts and wiping away a century of shame. And now, as both heaven and earth have witnessed, Qin's reforms have become successful, and we have been rewarded.
Hail to the reforms! Hail to the state of Qin!
The Grand Preceptor will now read the list of those who will be awarded by the state!
The list was given by Our Majesty Duke Xiao. All the soldiers of the new army have all fought bravely to win the Battle of Heshi. So for all their efforts, these fighters will now be recognized as the valiant soldiers of Qin, and each of them will be awarded the valiant sword, which bears the emblem of our beloved Qin nation as a symbol of their courage, for all to see and recognize.
Hail to the valiant soldiers for their courage and their strength!
The Prime Minister will now read the next rewards!
These rewards were approved by Our Majesty Duke Xiao. First, to the administrative clerk of the Prime Minister, Jing Jian, who acted as the support army's chief commander, will be promoted 3 ranks as Senior Grand Master. Second, the chief commander of the new army, Ying, will be promoted 3 ranks as the Internal Affairs General. Third, the General of Shanyang, Xian, will be promoted 2 ranks as the General of Hangu Pass. Shanyang Magistrate Wang Shi will be promoted to Senior Provincial Official of Internal Affairs, and Shanyang Magistrate Infantry Chief Commander Shang Jian will be promoted 5 ranks as the Deputy Commander of the new army. Cavalry General Sima Kuo will be promoted 5 ranks as the Deputy General of Hangu Pass. The Prime Minister's office will provide a separate reward to all of our other deserving officials.
Thank you for your reward, Your Majesty! Long live Qin! Long live Qin! Long live Qin!
May heaven and earth and everyone here attest to the outstanding efforts of our Prime Minister Wei Yang and mark it forever in Qin's history. As I have promised years ago at the recruitment order, Wei Yang will be granted 15 cities in Shang as his own domain and will be known as Lord Shang.
I'm grateful, Your Majesty.
Long live Lord Shang! Long live Your Majesty! Long live Qin!
Forgive me, Your Majesty, but the royal family of Zhou has sent an ambassador to congratulate us.
Send him in then. Everyone take your seats.
Send the Zhou ambassador in!
Welcome, Zhou Ambassador. Forgive me for not giving you a proper welcome.
Duke Xiao, I have an announcement to make on the king's behalf.
Go ahead, please.
The Duke of Qin followed the mandate of heaven when he fought against Wei, promoted new reforms, improved the lives of his people, and built a new capital, all of which are great merits. Therefore, the Duke of Qin, Ying Qiliang, is hereby acknowledged as the greatest leader of the Western states, and can now enjoy the merits of defeating our oppressor, from the King of Zhao on the 26th year of autumn.
Send my gratitude to the King of Zhao.
Excuse me, Your Majesty. The heads of the 6 major states in Shandong have sent their ambassadors to congratulate you.
Invite them all in here. Lord Shangyang, Grand Preceptor, stand before me and accept this honor.
The ambassadors of the 6 Shandong states are now welcome to enter the court of Qin.
Congratulations, Duke Xiao and Lord Shang from the state of Qi.
Congratulations to the heads of Qin from the Chu state.
The state of Zhao congratulates Duke Xiao and Lord Shang.
The state of Wei congratulates Duke Xiao and Lord Shang. We hope to maintain a good relationship with you.
Han congratulates Duke Xiao and the Prime Minister. May the 2 states form an alliance together.
The state of Yan congratulates Duke Qiao and Lord Shang of Qin.
The era when Qin was looked down on has finally come to an end. After going through intense reforms, it became a great Western state that has suddenly emerged from the depths. It is now a state powerful enough to threaten its neighboring Shandong states. However, the storms within the Qin state did not come to an end because of its rise to greatness. Facing the 2 giants who had helped pioneer Qin's new era is another more difficult and almost unyielding challenge that would have to be dealt with.
Welcome home, Lord Shang. We are at your service.
My lord,
Who are you?
we are your new maids, my lord, sent by the Grand Duchess.
You're free to leave.
Yes, my lord.
I'm sorry, Lord Shang, but the maids and the servants were sent here by the Grand Duchess, so I just couldn't tell them to leave or I might get in trouble.
What of the Stone Arch and musicians?
The Stone Memorial Arch and the musicians were sent by the Imperial Ancestral Temple Chief Duce.
Send the musicians back to the temple. Then tell the rest to just wait out here.
Very well, my lord.
Jingnan, from now on, I will only need 100 men
playing.
whenever I leave the city. When we're at Shanyang, I will only need you and 2 more guards. That is all the security I require. No one will try to take my life again, Jingnan. I do not need that much guards. That would be an abuse of power. To walk around with so many men serves no purpose other than to scare our citizens. As Lord Shang, this will be my first order. Choose 100 men, and then send the rest of them to train at the military camp. What Qin needs are more soldiers who can battle against our enemies.
Yang!
If you intended to scare me, you have succeeded.
With all those people out there, I couldn't leave the house.
Since when has a princess like you been afraid of a crowd?
You look so tired, Yak. Even your hair is gray now.
Let's go in.
Fat lamb stew, bitter vegetables, and thick steamed cake, just the way you like them.
My wife knows me best.
Well, it's rare to hear your praises. You must be hungry.
Simply delicious.
Hey, eat slowly or you might choke. I'm sure you missed having hot meals, especially during the war.
I did.
Husband, I have wine for you.
Good evening, Grand Duchess.
Hey, Paul,
Yes?
is it really you?
Yes, Your Majesty.
You have aged,
Yes.
and so have I. It is inevitable.
Your Majesty, the Duke has a fever for 3 days. He just took some medicine and fell asleep.
3 days of fever. Did the royal doctor say what could have caused it?
According to the royal doctor, there are many causes for a fever to occur, and it will not be easy to point out right away.
Both he and Lord Shang have been working too hard and have overexhausted themselves. If they don't look after themselves, their health will suffer.
Oh, Grand Duchess, it's too cold to stroll outside tonight. Why don't we just sit inside where it's warmer?
Very well. Let's remain inside then. Goodness. The Shanyang Palace is too immense. We could not even find each other.
That's so true, Your Majesty. Compared to the Yiyang Palace, this must be 10 times bigger, with a main hall, a side hall, a library, and bed chambers at every side of the place. Oh, it's more spacious than before, although seeing all these spaces gives you a feeling of emptiness, does it not? Oh. Yes. When we were still at Yiyang, Duke Xiao would still enumerate all his orders to me, and I would always get them done right away, even the most important orders. I always took care of everything. But now that's no longer possible, Your Majesty. It has grown too difficult to handle everything here. Oh, and the Duke does not seem to have enough people to do the kind of work I used to do for him back then.
I agree. So much has changed since we moved here. I could barely speak with Qiliang, since my palace is farther from his. Back at Yueyang, I could simply go and visit him. And after Yingyu got married, she rarely visits me these days since she's busy attending to her husband. It can get rather lonely without someone to talk to.
Oh, Your Majesty, what if I assign 2 bridesmaids to keep you company? Some ladies you can chat with.
Hey, Bo, don't bother. I have no need for more maids. In fact, I've already assigned my 2 maids to work at my son-in-law's manor.
Oh. Your Majesty, it's not in my place to say this, but don't you think that it's time for a worthy duchess to look after this great palace and after your son?
You're right. I must talk to Qiliang. He should find himself a worthy bride to marry.
That's right.
He must have children, before it's too late.
I agree, Your Majesty.
You've slept for 3 days and nights, and you still look tired.
I'll turn into a lazy boar.
You can afford to get lazy for a change. After all, you've been working all the time.
I just remembered something.
Will you just forget about work? What are you thinking about now?
About who sent those people and gifts in front of our manor.
Most are from the aristocrats. Wealthy Jianyang natives with noble blood sent those gifts to us, so I couldn't turn them down.
What gifts have they given us?
Horses and carriages, servants and maids, famous ornaments, precious coins and gold, and many other things.
And the aristocrats claim they do not benefit from the reforms of Qin. So where did all their lavish gifts come from?
The least lavish gifts we got came from the Grand Preceptor.
What are they?
A congratulatory note and a jar of wine. I know you do not fancy such gifts, so perhaps we can just hand them over to the state treasury.
No. Return them to their owners. Let the judicial office handle their return.
Husband, they're being generous to you. Why would you want to offend them? If given to the state treasury, we'd still uphold our integrity, and they will not find that offensive. Is that not more appropriate?
Qin's new laws clearly state that any official celebrating birthdays or promotions are not allowed to receive private gifts. If I should start receiving their gifts, the rest who are promoted will start receiving them as well. Once that happens, the laws of Qin would be pointless.
Should we hand over the servants to the judge then, along with Mother's maids?
The Grand Duchess gift is considered a reward by the state. That's different from the gifts given by the citizens.
So do we keep the maids, since they're rewarded by the state?
An official has the right to decline the reward offered by the state. Explain that to your mother. I'm sure she'll understand.
You know what? You'll be offending so many people.
However they feel about it does not matter to me.
All right. I'll do as you say.
Are you upset?
No.
Yingyu, do you want me to be an official forever?
What do you mean? I'm just worried. You never think about yourself. All you care about is the state.
Yes. Yes. It's time I thought about myself.
How, when you rarely come home? No Linghu's belly is swelling ahead of me.
Swelling? Why would you want your belly to swell?
I meant she's pregnant. You're smart and you don't know that? Fine then. I want to bear your child, you dumb man.
Oh. All right. We're going to have many of them.
How long will you stay? Just for 10 days or a month?
I'm not sure yet. I think I can stay for a longer time.
Really?
We've established the reforms of Qin, and we've also recovered our lost lands. Do you think it's time for me to retire?
To retire? So you wish to retire from your post?
Don't you want me to?
Of course, I would love that. I just don't think you can do it.
Why not?
Because I know you quite well. If something happened to Qin, you'd come running back to work. By then, even if I wanted you to leave, you can't.
Now that you mentioned it, there's nothing more I can do for the state.
Really?
Really.
Splendid! Even Sister Bai will surely be happy to hear that.
I feel so much guilt towards them.
Baizhui is a strong woman with a heart of gold. Husband, why don't we have them stay here at Shenyang? She's been living alone with her son for more than a decade. That's not fair at all.
List down all the gifts you turned over to the judicial office. Nothing must be overlooked.
Yes, my lord.
Lord Shang! Well, it's nice to see you again. You look well rested.
Senior Grandmaster Jingjian. You should be working at your office right now. What are you doing here?
Actually, I'd rather remain your administrative clerk. I don't wish to be Senior Grandmaster.
You've been my assistant for 20 years. Aren't you tired of it yet? You're strange.
Well, you made the decisions then, so I feel more at ease. Now I have to make them myself. I will need your advice on certain things.
If I had died of exhaustion, what would you do then? What's the trouble?
It's those lavish gifts they've given. I couldn't even get enough sleep because they've been sitting around the house.
Where's Cheying?
At Lantian camp. I've been to his manor as well. He also has the same problem I have.
It's Lord Shang!
Oh, there he is.
Here! Lord Shang, Senior Grandmaster. We have a problem.
You too?
You don't know how to deal with your gifts either, huh?
I'm afraid it's something graver than that. Around 30,000 soldiers who were given their new titles have been taking turns to go home. They've been granted half a month's leave, but at their hometowns, every village, county, and town chiefs have been giving them gifts and holding banquets and festivities for them. Some of the villages have even built new houses for their returning soldiers. You see, most of our soldiers are of marriageable age before they left their homes. They've been spoken for someone who they vowed to marry after the war. And once they return, their villages would hold their wedding banquets. The soldiers would receive cartloads of gifts. Some have so many they won't fit in their houses. Most of the news already reached the camp, so a lot of the soldiers who haven't returned to their homes yet are getting envious about that. They keep requesting to take an earlier leave.
Why do you have to worry? They deserve that honor. After fighting a war, the worthy ones should enjoy the glory. That's what the reform's about.
I suppose you're right about that. Still, I don't feel comfortable about...
Let's go to the judicial office.
Come.
The judicial office is aware of those activities. We just chose not to take action, since it was difficult to do so.
What's so difficult about implementing the laws?
Lord Shang Qin is the only existing state that forbids giving and accepting private gifts. The difficulty we face is not about enforcing the law, but about their basic rights to celebrate a victory. The people of Qin have always celebrated their triumphs. Whenever we won a war, you would find excessive celebrations all over the nation. Much has already changed after the reform. The citizens have become more responsible and more law-abiding, even more sedate compared to before. By prohibiting these practices, we may be upholding the law, but are we not being too extreme? We should be punishing many villages, and I do not have the heart to disappoint them all. Lord Shang, I am in a difficult position here, so I beg you to make that decision.
I have to agree with the judge. Why don't we consider this their first and last mistake? Just warn your men, Commander-in-Chief.
The first and last?
Yes.
Right. We can't change the laws just to suit them.
The Senior Grandmaster's idea is considerate in regards to the law and the people's
No,
sentiments.
Judge. Why does this one-horned legal beast look so formidable? Because of its one powerful horn? And that one horn is the law. The greatest harm one can cause a reformed state is to disobey those laws in favor of others. If we allow these gift givings, bribery will start spreading again and corruption among officials will rise. The aim of our reforms is to put an end to all of these. And now, even when the laws are clearly stipulated, you would wish to be considerate You'd rather forget the law and favor the people's sentiments? Ask yourself, are there more people who were promoted or are there more people who gave them gifts? Would those people be really unhappy if you told them to keep their money, especially those who need it? Would banning the practice of wasting money and manpower and promoting honesty and integrity be really unacceptable to them? We all need a bucket of earth to build a mountain. Today, you've allowed them to congratulate their soldiers. Tomorrow, how will you stop them from congratulating someone else? The first and last. That's making way for another time. If we just allow this to happen, the practice will be widespread, our laws will be useless, our new army's honor will fade, our state's integrity will be ruined, and our people's law-abiding spirit will die. After that, the state of Qin will perish in less than 3 generations. Because we were considerate.
Please forgive us, Lord Chang.
He will attend to the issue at once.
Lord Shan, the judicial office will take immediate action according to our laws.
Good.
The state of Qin prohibits giving and receiving private gifts to establish the integrity of the court and to strengthen the law-abiding spirit of the citizens. This order is hereby issued. The law states that on the birthdays of Duke Shao or of any officials or on every official promotion, no one is allowed to engage in giving or receiving private gifts. This practice can easily lead to bribery, and its widespread will corrupt the state. Therefore, all gifts will be confiscated by the judicial office and returned to their rightful owners. The state bans the wasteful use of money and manpower and aims to serve with honor and integrity, which is what the citizens of Qin truly deserve. I've never met such a cold-hearted person. That tyrant has gone too far. No appreciation at all.
You only have yourself to blame for that. You have chosen the wrong person.
Who among the rich and famous have not given a private gift? But it had to be our gifts that were returned with a statement. How unfair.
Unfair? Why, what did the judicial statement say?
That I've used the acid that's owned by the state to bribe an official.
Well, you should be grateful. With that statement, you were fortunate that you did not end up getting exiled.
Grand Preceptor, you advised me to stay on their good side, remember?
Are you stupid? You gave away the Imperial Ancestral Temple's memorial stone arch and musicians. They're the property of the state. Even during Duke Mu's reign, that's considered a serious crime.
Well, in that case, let's see what you have to say when the Mengxi and Bai clans come over here. Because I'm sure they're going to be very furious.
Goodness, you really haven't learned a thing. You truly are hopeless.
Father, some people from Mengxi and Bai clans wish to speak with you.
I have no wish to see them.
Father, it's your sworn duty to set every wrongdoings right.
Fine then, just tell them to wait for me at the main hall.
Of course.
Royal Doctor, how is His Majesty doing?
His fever has settled. I'll still need time to find the cause.
What could have caused it?
There are many possible causes, my lord, so it is not easy to diagnose. His Majesty has not been looking after himself, so his recovery was slower.
I see.
Hebo,
Yes?
is Lord Shang out there?
He's here.
Your Majesty, how are you feeling?
Oh, there's nothing to worry about. I'm fine. Wait, let me sit. There. I believe that this fever is a good one. You see, whenever we won a war, I would always have a fever for some reason. And since we did not just win a war, we have a new capital, so the fever was more intense. Heaven must not want me to be slow-witted, so they gave me this fever, so I can just leave all of my silly ideas in my fever dreams.
Well, since that is the case, I'll make sure not to win any wars from now on.
Oh, stop it. Anyway, we haven't drank in a while, so let's both celebrate by drinking to our heart's content.
Oh no, you've just recovered from your fever. Just get some rest for a few more days.
Lord Shang, I've rested long enough. I'm tired of this chamber. Come, let's go to the study.
Right. I also have to give you my report.
Oh, we're going there to drink and have fun, not to work. Here, Lord Shang, I saved up your favorite Zhao wine for today.
No, it's fine. Honestly, the wine I favor lately are the ones made in Qin.
Still, this wine is a tribute to us by the King of Zhao. Ready?
To be given this tribute by the King of Zhao marks the beginning of Qin Empire's rise. Congratulations.
Well said. The beginning of Qin Empire's rise. All right. Cheers.
Hold on. We'll just finish this one urn, all right?
Oh, really? Come on, Lord Shang. Frankly, after the ceremony, I was looking forward to getting drunk with you and Yingyu that evening. I think that I fell asleep in the carriage. Did they carry me out of there? I wasn't aware of it. I must have looked embarrassing.
That's because you've been working very hard.
Speak for yourself. You slept for 3 days straight, right? Yingyu was getting worried sick about you then. She kept consulting with the doctor about 10 times in here, you know?
Cheers.
Wait, Lord Shang. When was the last time we had that real drink?
10 years ago.
10 years? You mean 20 years ago? Let's drink. Cheers. Imagine that. 20 years ago, we drank and talked for 3 days and 4 nights. And right after we did, we both took charge of Qin and started implementing those reforms. No one but the two of us understood the dire need for those changes. It was a tough, lonely road, and I'm glad you were there with me.
We both made a vow, Your Majesty. Can you still remember the vow that we made to each other?
Bring Qin back to glory. Support each other until death. Remember those moments when we almost died? There had been times when I was already at the point of giving up.
You're not the sort who would give up. In fact, you've always reminded me of Mencius' life motto, Your Majesty. No threat or force can bend him. No poverty or disorder can sway his faith. No riches or honor can corrupt him, Your Majesty. That description fits you best.
Maybe he wrote those words to describe how he sees you.
Of course not. It still describes you best.
Is that so? Then we both fit the description. Let's drink to that.
Cheers.
We can no longer celebrate the triumphs of war. Our people are displeased. The state is being unfair, Grand Preceptor.
Enlighten us with your explanation, Grand Preceptor.
Since I am the Grand Preceptor of the state of Qin, I suppose I can offer an explanation for that, to remedy this confusion.
We would all like to hear it!
The prohibition of giving private gifts has been applied since our reforms first began, and its sole purpose is to prevent corruption. Yet instead of obeying it, everyone here decided to just forget about our loss. You all claim to celebrate our victory, but what you're all actually doing is destroying the integrity of our officials and our soldiers. Others even went as far as giving away the state's assets just to flaunt his importance. If that is allowed, what will you do next? This is why the judicial office dealt with the matter accordingly. And here you are, voicing out your displeasure, complaining about how unfair the state has been to you when it is you who have disobeyed the law. Even I am just as guilty as everyone here. Since I sent a congratulatory note to Lord Shang on his promotion, along with a jug of wine. But what I did was still against the law. And so I was reprimanded by the judicial office for that. And since I, the Grand Preceptor, broke the law, I don't have the right to reprimand you for whatever your sentiments are. I will just advise you to reflect on your ways and to abide by the laws of the state no matter what. Our laws were not idly given, okay? They were thoroughly deliberated on, and so far they have worked well for us. I know you only wish our soldiers well, but let us put our faith on the laws of the state. Now you must forgive me if I take my leave now. I am not feeling very well.
That'll be enough, Father. Go get some rest.
Rest well, Grand Preceptor.
Grand Preceptor. Gentlemen, my father's too old-fashioned, you see. I hope you didn't find his words too offensive.
The Grand Preceptor is protecting the state. Why would we even blame him for that?
He just gave a congratulatory note and a jug of wine and got reprimanded for it by the judicial office. Tell me, where's the justice in that?
I agree. Their punishments are excessive. Even an elderly official isn't spared.
Only a heartless tyrant would make such laws.
This is insulting to all of us. What on earth is going on? Gentlemen, please calm down. I thank you for coming. But you'll have to take this talk outside. What on earth do you mean?
Lord Shang, what should be done for Qin to be more progressive?
More progressive? Tell me, Your Majesty, what is your real dream for Qin?
To make it the most powerful state around.
And once you've achieved that, what comes next?
Lord Shang, do you think it's possible to unify all the states?
It's not about whether we can or not. It's about how deeply we want to get it done.
Lord Shang, judging from the way you've answered me, I can already imagine the dangers and difficulties of that.
Your Majesty, all the states have been at war for 500 years. To unify them all, dangers and difficulties are naturally bound to happen. Besides, it cannot be achieved by one generation. It took the Shang dynasty 2 generations to finally overthrow the Xia dynasty to take over. And it took the Zhou dynasty 3 generations to overthrow the Shang dynasty. For us to overcome poverty and to achieve the present strength of our state right now already took us 20 years. Now, for us to be strong enough to wage war and defeat the other 6 states, we will surely require more time than that. It is a great ambition, Your Majesty, if Qin can be able to unify all the states. But of course, at our current situation, that will be difficult to achieve.
So that's all it can be. Just another impossible dream.
I said difficult, not impossible.
Very well. What should we do about it?
Stick to the rule of law. Wait for a wise ruler.
Wait for a wise ruler who will take over from me? That is difficult. It will take some time.
A great cause is difficult and will require time.
It has been difficult enough for the citizens to follow the rule of law, but finding a wise ruler will take longer than climbing up the path to heaven.
It should not take that long.
Oh? How so?
If we merely wait and do nothing about it, then it would take longer than climbing up the path to heaven. But if we made the rule of law our long-term national policy, finding him will not take long.